So there's a couple main takeaways from that research. The first one is that this is again a systemic problem. It's not one person's fault. Even in Marsha Linehan's biosocial model of emotion dysregulation, they talk about a transactional model. It's a back and forth. It's not like one kid was just born broken or whatever, and then it's like they're the problem. Or it's also not about that it's all the parents' fault. It's a back and forth. It's a poor fit or a bad system. So what often happens is that a kid is naturally more emotionally sensitive, right? They feel deeper, they react more strongly to stress. Their emotions are big and loud and hard to regulate, hard to manage. And then the parent is overwhelmed by that, right? And so either the parent is um, unintentionally invalidating, like, or maybe on purpose invalidating, like, oh, calm down, it's fine, it's no big deal. Your sister can calm down. Why don't you be like your sister? Or they could be outright abusive, right? They could yell at them or hit them or neglect them when they're dysregulated, or they get dysregulated themselves, right? They like the kid gets upset and they get upset, right? So it's really a back and forth evolving relationship and evolving disorder. So someone usually has BPD when they've have like intense emotions and the family system doesn't help them regulate it. I used to be just like all about I think before I became a mom, I was way more critical of the parents' role. Like they should validate their kids. They should listen. They should, and I still think that's true. But it's also I could also see from a parent's side that when your kid has really intense emotions, they're just getting upset and it's disruptive, like they get exhausted and they don't maybe know all the skills to basically to handle that. And especially if they're parenting alone or they don't have more support in parenting, they're like, oh, fine, just stop yelling, right? And that could make that kid's emotions even worse. So it's sometimes there is trauma and abuse that leads to BPD. Yes, definitely. But sometimes it's not always that clear. Sometimes if a kid just basically has these big emotions. Often they might have a traumatic experience or been assaulted or something terrible, some big stressor in their life. And then their parents might not have known what to do to help them, right? So this is just a bigger puzzle piece, this bigger picture than just like it's the parents' fault. It's your fault. You traumatized them by invalidating them. And now you have to pay for it. I also say that to people who have BPD is I understand the feeling because I feel it myself of a part of you, like an inner child, who's upset at the traumatic experience they've had with with their parents, even if it's like they made me feel abandoned, they neglected me, they didn't listen to my emotions, like I didn't feel seen by them, or even all the way to I was abused by them in some way. It is so painful because for that person, they have to carry that forever. Like there will always be a part of them that will be hurt by that, right? Like you don't actually get over traumas. You might relate to them differently or hold them differently. But there will always be that like little nugget of pain. Sometimes if you don't know what to do with that pain, it can feel cathartic or could feel like the right thing to do to be like angry and explode and blame the parent, which is valid. Maybe they did do something to hurt you. But what is really tricky is that I'm seeing adults like just scream and yell and maybe be abusive back to their parent or demand like money and other kind of like accommodations trying to heal that wound, right? And that's never really going to work